Just as Damien raised his belt to strike, the diner door swung open, and 5 bikers from the Iron Souls walked in. What happened next will leave everyone speechless. The hum of midday chatter filled Rosie's diner, the clinking of plates, the soft music from the jukebox, and the scent of fresh coffee. It was an ordinary afternoon until the sharp crash of shattering glass split through the air. Every head turned. A wine bottle rolled across the floor, spilling a slow, red river that spread across the black and white tiles like a wound. In the middle of it knelt Elara, trembling in a pale yellow dress. One arm shielded her face, the other clutched her swollen belly. Towering above her was Damien Cross, a man whose tailored suit and gleaming watch screamed wealth and authority, but his eyes burned with anger, not love. The chatter died. Forks stopped midair. The world shrank to the scene of a powerful man and the woman he had broken. Damien's voice cut through the silence, sharp and venomous. "You never learn, do you?" he hissed. "But before we dive into what happens next, I'd love to know, where are you tuning in from today? Drop your country in the comment below and please like the video. Thank you. Now let's continue. He didn't care about the people watching. To them, he was a billionaire genius, the face on magazine covers, the symbol of success. But to Elara, he was cruelty in a suit. Around them, diners sat frozen. A young couple turned away, pretending not to see. 2 waitresses by the counter exchanged terrified looks, their hands trembling as they clutched their trays. No one moved. No one spoke. The air grew heavy with the shame of inaction, the silent approval that comes when fear outweighs morality. Elara's lips quivered as she tried to speak. "Please, Damien, not here." He glared at her, his jaw tightening. "You think I care where?" Elara pushed herself up from the floor, her knees scraped, her breath shaky. She reached for a booth to steady herself. "Sit down," Damien barked. His voice cracked like thunder. Elara flinched and stumbled back, tears spilling down her cheeks. The belt in his hand uncoiled, leather sliding against leather, hissing through the air. The sound made every heart in the diner stop. No one moved. Not one person found their courage. Elara shut her eyes, waiting for the pain. And then, the bell above the diner door jingled. Once, a deep rumble of engines rolled in from outside. The glass door swung open. Wind rushed in, carrying the scent of gasoline, metal, and rain. 5 men stepped through the doorway. Their boots hit the tile floor in slow, deliberate rhythm. Their vests were black leather, marked with a silver insignia, the Iron Souls. At the front was Jaxon Rudd, tall, broad-shouldered, his beard streaked with gray. His calm eyes scanned the room, taking in the spilled wine, the frightened woman, and the man holding a belt. Damien froze, startled by the sudden intrusion. "This doesn't concern you," he snapped, his voice dripping with authority. Jaxon didn't answer. He kept walking, the sound of his boots echoing through the silent diner. His men followed, spreading out behind him like shadows. The entire room held its breath. Jaxon stopped a few feet away from Damien. He didn't need to raise his voice. When he spoke, it was low, even, and dangerous. "Put it down." Damien's smirk faltered. He tried to laugh it off. "You have no idea who you're talking to." Jackson's expression didn't change. "You're right," he said. "And I don't care. You don't raise your hand to a woman. Not here. Not ever." One of the bikers stepped past Jaxon and gently helped Elara to her feet. Her hand shook as she gripped his arm for balance, her eyes red and swollen. The belt dangled from Damien's hand, his fingers tightening around it. But the look in Jackson's eyes, steady, fearless, made him hesitate. Around them, the other bikers stood like a wall, silent and unblinking. Damien's arrogance began to crack. His confidence, built on money, fear, and control, crumbled in front of men who didn't bow to either. He glanced at the door, then back at the bikers, his jaw twitching. The belt slipped from his grasp and hit the floor with a dull thud that echoed like a sentence passed. No one cheered. No one clapped. But everyone felt the shift. Power had changed hands. Damien's face flushed with humiliation. Without a word, he turned and stormed out, slamming the door behind him so hard the windows rattled. The sound lingered like the echo of justice. Silence filled the diner again, but this time it wasn't heavy. It was cleansing. Jaxon turned to Elara, his tone soft. "You all right?" She nodded, her lips trembling as tears streamed down her cheeks. One of the waitresses hurried over with a towel and a glass of water. Another began sweeping the broken glass from the floor. The tension that had frozen everyone moments ago began to melt. People whispered softly. Someone wiped the counter. The room was slowly returning to normal, though no one there would ever forget what they'd witnessed. Jaxon straightened, his eyes sweeping over the quiet faces around him. "When you see something like that," he said firmly, "don't just sit there. Silence protects the wrong people." The words sank deep. No one spoke, but everyone knew he was right. Jaxon gave Elara a reassuring nod, then turned toward the door. His men followed him, boots thudding in unison. Outside, the motorcycles roared to life. The sound rolled through the street like thunder before fading into the distance. Elara moved to the diner's window and pressed a hand against the glass. Her reflection stared back, tear-streaked, exhausted but different, stronger. For the first time in months, she didn't feel invisible. She didn't feel powerless. Somewhere deep inside, a spark of hope flickered back to life. The broken glass was gone, the wine wiped away, but something else remained. A lesson, a truth, a quiet courage that filled the space where fear used to live. Elara whispered softly, "Thank you," her hand still resting on her belly. Because sometimes heroes don't come in shining armor or fine suits. Sometimes they ride in on steel, wear leather, and carry the kind of strength the world too often forgets. As the sunlight spilled through the window, painting the diner in gold, Elara felt a strange peace. The storm had passed, and though her heart still ached, it now beat with the rhythm of survival. And as she sat back down, she knew this. Kindness isn't always gentle. It can be fierce, bold, and unyielding. If this story moved you, if you believe courage and compassion can still change lives, share it, like it, and subscribe to Echoes of Life Stories. Because when we tell stories like this, we remind the world that standing up for others still matters.